Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Time for some part 2 action of our map discussion. Because I wanted to read every single comment, because honestly there's only like 60 something of them, and I think that's something that I can manage. You know, if there were more, I might have to just pick out my favorites, but I want to respond to all of you. Nick Ortega, not really a main story chapter, but Hidden Truth 1 and 2 from FE Fates because of Desire Below. Desire Below, good song. I don't know anything about those chapters though, because I didn't play the DLC for Fates. Marco Asturias. In general, I'd say FE1 and FE6 sequences are mad underrated. It's really cool to have a massive battle on the countryside, ending seizing the gate of a castle, and the next one is inside the castle. Sounds like a given, but many other SRPGs, even other Fire Emblems, lack this cohesion. That said, if we are talking favorites, all of Conquest from the Crossroads of Fate to like Izumo or whatever Izana's home is called. Pretty much all flawless maps and some master classes of map design. Yeah, I like your point about like it's fun to have like this big battle that you like seize a castle and then you're inside the castle. You're right, not always done, but it's a cool one they do. All right, Olincia's Gambit. We talked a lot about Olincia's Gambit in part 1 of this map talking series. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on Olincia's Gambit, make sure to watch part 1. Defense map that you can play offensively. There's also an incentive to go after certain mobs for stab boosters or other items. 313 is another fun map with a similar theme. I think 313 is the better map overall. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think 313 or 2 Endgame is the better Radiant Dawn map? Those of you who've played it. All right. My plant said no. The chapter after Emran's death and awakening always stuck with me. Mustafa was such a memorable single chapter boss, and the music was fantastic. Yeah, we actually talked about Emran's death, or not the I think it was called Renewal, whatever. We actually talked about that chapter at the end of last video, and yeah, it's really good. The music and story implications, and story and stuff, that's really good. Outside of that, the gameplay's okay. I think that's where a lot of people promote a character for the first time. At least that's where I did in my first playthrough, and that was pretty cool. All right, Swidge. Awakening Chapter 10. It's not the map itself, it's Don't Speak Her Name. Yeah, Don't Speak Her Name is incredible. Really good stuff. All right, Capet. My good friend Capet. Radiant Dawn chapters 310, 312, 313, and 3E, as well as Three Houses Battle of Gronderfield. These maps are great to me because they are some of the few chapters in the series where there are 3 separate factions all fighting each other. You fight 2 opposing armies that are also fighting each other. It makes the strategy of carefully choosing who to pick off and where to set yourself up a bit more important and strategic than normal maps that you can easily predict enemy movement. Radiant Dawn's chapters are more enjoyable because you are battling yourself with units you made. For Three Houses' first battle is the fun because your units are not ridiculously strong yet. The war at Gronder has the interesting niche of a sneak pincer attack, but loses its effectiveness because of how idle both enemies tend to be. At least the Battle of the Eagle and Lion encourage you to rack up points with knockouts for the reward, even though the reward could have been better. Yeah, true. Isn't it just like a blessed lance or something? Like, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, the Battle of Gronderfield is really cool. Really epic. If you recruit, like, the problem with it is if you recruit all the students and stuff, it becomes a lot less epic. But if you like only play with your base house, which is basically what I did on my first playthrough, it's really fun to see all of the enemies and their enemy classmates in their classes and stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, 310, 312, 313, yeah, all great maps. 3E, great chunk of maps. We talked a lot about Radiant Dawn chapters in the previous part of this little mini series here. So if you want to know more about that, please watch part 1. But I will say shout outs to 312. That's not one that gets brought up a lot. You get to be it's just really funny because you get to be the bad guy that pushes the rocks down the hill. In Path of Radiance, you didn't get to be the guy to pushing the rocks down the hill. this time you do. It's kind of fun. And it's always cool having like when the Dawn Brigade goes up against the Grail Mercenaries. That's just like peak Radiant Dawn moments. Those are so good. All right, Major. I know Major loves Thracia, so I'm sure he just says, you already know my answer, the entirety of Thracia 776. All right, not much to talk about there. That's too much. Too broad, Major. You didn't listen to the prompt, sir. All right, chapter 22, Twerp Night. Chapter 22 of Azure Moon because Edelgard died. Because Edelgard died, I succeeded my grandma daughter as Pope of Fodlan and married Dimitri. What's not to like? That's a really good comment. Really good. Yeah, Rhea, your grandma, daughter, aunt, sister, nephew, niece, lady. Yeah, she's all of you. She's related to you in every way possible. And she can be your grandma, daughter, sister, aunt, niece, wife, if you so choose. I'm pretty sure in the game, which is like, why? Why did they do that? But it's a thing. But yeah, sure. Chapter 22 of Azure Moon because of all that stuff. Heck yeah. Screw Edelgard. Am I right, fellas? All right. Ryan Williams. My favorite chapters for me is between the travel to Benyon, all chapters in the beginning of Path of Radiance, and Radiant Dawn Part 1 and 3. We've talked a lot about Radiant Dawn so far, and we've talked a little bit about the beginning of Path of Radiance. Again, in the part 1 of this series here. I really enjoy the traveling to Benyon arc, and the Benyon arc itself of Path of Radiance. Really, I like the second boat map. The first boat map is kind of a pain. The second boat map is cool, but Port Toa, which is just precedes the boat maps and stuff. It's where you recruit Zyhark. That's a really fun and memorable map to me because there's just a lot of side objectives going on, and then the Black Knight just like pops out of a house in the middle of the map, which is like enemy who can kill literally everyone on my team easily is here. Like not even Titania can put up a fight against him, right? She just gets, I think she gets one, maybe she doesn't get one-rounded, but she almost gets one-rounded if she doesn't. It's a really cool set of maps. And then the maps in Benyon I really like, with all of the backstory that you get on like the Lagoose slave trade and stuff like that in Benyon. It's fun stuff. All right. Lovo Fofo. Field of Revenge is absolutely harrowing on a first playthrough. I have no idea what Field of Revenge is. I better look it up because I don't know what it is. Field of Revenge, Fire Emblem. Oh, it's the Teltian Plains map in Crimson Flower, right? Yeah. I agree. Good map. Good map. We talked about it a little bit. I love that Rhea shows up though. I think that's probably my favorite part. It's really cool when Rhea shows up. All right, Ike fan. I wonder what chapters Ike fan likes. I enjoy the Dane army chapters of Radiant Dawn. It's very clear that they're the weaker army, and it's a detail told through the gameplay's contrast. Working with limitations succeeding also appeals to me in and of itself. I don't like that it stunts specific character long-term use, but that's a necessary trade-off for the limits in the short term. Yeah. I would tend to agree. 312, 313, 36, great maps. All right. Del Rio or Ryu or however you say your name. From New Mystery of the Emblem with Yubello and Yumina arc, where you discover that Hardin is evil and you have to rescue both, chapter 1 through 5, and liberate Grust. I've loved the pressure that Astrum makes in chapters 7 through 8, making the level so scary in higher difficulties. Yeah, Astrum chasing you down is really cool. I agree. And it makes his eventual recruitment like kind of sweet, And yeah, the first like 5 chapters of New Mystery on I've only played New Mystery on Lunatic Reverse. Only way I've played the game. And yeah, the chapters 1 through 5 are really memorable and cool. So I appreciate the new mystery love. We've gotten a lot of Three Houses and Radiant Dawn and Conquest and Awakening love so far. So thank you for mentioning one of the lesser talked about games in the series. New Mystery of the Emblem is really good. Anyone who hasn't played it should. It has a good fan translation. The gameplay is about as tight as it gets in the series, and it's just really good. I would suggest not playing. I would suggest playing it on at least hard mode though, if you're a veteran of the series or whatever. All right, JRR Thompson. The Fergus trio of Sylvain, Ingrid, and Felix has a special place in your heart. Oh, Dimitri is there too, I guess. I guess that's in reference to like their paralogs or something, or just didn't get the question. But yeah, great characters. I agree. They have a fun dynamic. Especially like that Sylvain and Ingrid don't really have a lot of like romantic moments. I think that's really good for Sylvain's character. That Ingrid is like this balancing force for him. It's cool. All right. Fire Emblem 7, The Port of Baden. In my opinion, the perfect Fire Emblem map in every way. Multiple paths to the end, your choice of low risk, low reward, or high risk, high reward, short and sweet. Fighting the optional boss and the high level enemies and getting that sweet experience is just so fun. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that the objective isn't like kill all these enemies or do this or that. It's literally like just talk to Fergus. And you're good. You know, talk to Fergus, and you can go straight up the middle and probably get your butt handed to you, or you can go straight up the middle. I mean, or you can take the path up north. It's like the smarter, safer path. That is a really cool map and one that I haven't thought about in a long time. But yeah, I do like that one. So good pick. Good pick, Neil. Good pick. All right, Emblem Warrior. Valencia's Gambit is such an amazing chapter. Gives you all the tools you need while also being very involved. It's the only place in the game you can get bolting. Plus, the first 5 turns are exciting, with the arrival of Joffrey and the Knights. Yeah, we've talked Valencia's Gambit to death, so I'm just gonna... I wanted to read your comment, because I'm reading everyone's comments, but I wanted to just... Moving on. Alright. Sam Van Etch, if I say your name wrong. The Teltian plains followed by the storming a Ferdiat that is being consumed by flames. Edelgard and the Imperial army are steamrolling across Fergus, and you can taste victory. Yuritsa facing his sister, Sylvain wondering whether Ingrid and Felix survived the previous battle. Sad. Dedue's sacrificing himself for Dimitri, or alternatively Dimitri being defeated and finding solace in Dedue's arms before he dies. Then you get to Ferdiat, where Rhea has completely lost control. Catherine fights out of love for Rhea, all the while feeling uncomfortable with the plan she was told to carry out. Net, Ash, and Gustav make their last stand when they deep down know all is lost. Spectacular. That's like a video essay in itself. You should... That's really good. Like, that's the thing. I read a lot of these comments and I'm like, wow, you could like probably make YouTube videos better than a lot of us could, you know. Like you could actually make interesting scripts and stuff. But yeah, when you put it all that way, the end game of Crimson Flower is pretty gnarly. Really cool stuff. Big fan. Thank you for your comment. I'm just trying to think of things to say about it, but yeah. Just like the desperation you can see, and like everyone's kind of like, yeah, Rhea, you're kind of off the deep end, but they stick with her because they love her. It's like Cyril and Catherine. It's cool stuff. All right. Prowser Gaming says EDELGARD. I don't know what that means. Okay. Frosty, Chapter 4 of FE4. That's funny. Your name is Frosty. You like the snow map. Ha. That's funny. The music and atmosphere are beautiful and has some of my favorite story beats in all of Genealogy. Oh, the stuff with I guess it's now Anand, but it used to be Manya. The stuff with Anand, I'm gonna call her Manya. The stuff with Manya and like Dithorba and stuff like that. Oh, so good. All so good. I love it. And then Lewin like kind of like reconciles with his mother a little bit and becomes like kind of understands his place in the world as like king of Cilicia, but that's kind of thrown out the window, I guess. Like he kind of like takes on the mantle and was like, yeah, I can do this. I can save the world. I can be who I'm supposed to be. And he becomes like one of the most powerful units in Fire Emblem history after that point. And Aranus, or just Aaron, or whatever it is now. I like Aaron. I prefer Aaron personally. Aaron is really interesting and cool in this map as well. She has a lot of stake in the plot, so very cool map. I agree. All right, Super Spectral Banana. What is a Super Spectral Banana even like? The Battle of Gronder Field, between heaven and earth. Between heaven and earth, the sheer hype and build-up of it all. Man, that chapter was memorable. Yeah. Especially not if you don't recruit people, it's really good. It's really good. And I like it is. Some people might not like it, might not like this, but I do like that the Battle of Gronder Field is foreshadowed in the Battle of the Eagle and Lion, you know, like in part 1, and then you get to do it and get to do like the real, like high stakes battle later on. It's a fun little practice setup thing you have going on for like your 3-way deadlock that you have. I do think story-wise, Battle of Gronder Field's a little silly, where like Dimitri's like, oh, we can't tell friend from foe, so let's just kill all of them. Or it's like, oh, like Claude's on your side here. Like, kind of, you know, like, sure, the Leicester Alliance has their own goals and stuff, but they ultimately want Edelgard to stop being an idiot, right? I don't know. It's just, it's dumb. It's dumb that Dimitri and Claude aren't on the same side, that they kill each other. So I don't like that about it. Other than that, it's a really fun map. All right, sorry, I can't. Wait, is that Marie? Is that Marie? Is that who that is? Sorry, I can't read that name. I'm so sorry. But that might be Marie, who hangs out in chat sometimes. My favorite chapter would probably be a tie between Birthright's Hoshido Invasion of Nor chapters and Azure Moon's post-Regri Death chapters. I don't have a ton of experience with Birthright. I've only played through Birthright once, so I don't have a whole lot to say about those chapters. Azure Moon post Rodriguez's death. It is nice that Dimitri becomes like an actual character again, but I like that he's not like normal. You know what I mean? He's still weird. Not weird, I shouldn't say weird. He's still traumatized, and they show that off really well. I appreciate when a game handles mental illness in a fairly realistic way. Like, there isn't just like some weird cure-all to Dimitri's problems, right, in his head. It's something that he just lives with at that point, but he's learning to cope with it. That's what it is. It's kind of cool. All right, Sheldon KFP, Archiver of the Usual Rooms. What does that even mean? I really like the prologue of Genealogy. Wow, that's the second time someone's brought up the prologue of Genealogy. That's pretty cool. I find you have so much to do in so little time. The pacing just seems to work on it so well. I think part of the reason the pacing works so well is that you're getting a lot of new units. They are placed all over the map, and the game just knew what you had. Like, they knew exactly what you had, what you were doing, and it paces well to that. It's a good introduction to Genealogy that is then ruined by Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. All right, Blitz. The original Dawn Brigade, or the original Grail Mercenaries, before the Dawn Brigade became the Dane Army and Grail Mercs lost Grail. Oh, interesting. Okay, so like Dawn Brigade chapters, what, like that's like part 1 prologue through chapter 4 or 5, right? Is it chapter? Wait, so 3's that one, then 4, 5. So like chapter 6, right? And then the Grail Mercs before you lose Grail. I think there's a lot of really cool character development in those chapters for the Path of Radiance early game Mercs, right? And then early game Dawn Brigade is just really tightly designed, so that's really cool stuff. That's a fun opinion. I like that one. All right, McCann 1. People are going to shout out Chapter 10 of Conquest, but why not Chapter 17? A lot of people like this map, but it makes you make use of your units in a clever way and rewards preparing for it. You get sure right before the chapter who can deal with a lot of the map well. so your units are freed up to do other things in theory. There is a wide objective, a side objective to keep Saizo alive for a Speedwing, and it is overall a well-designed map. It's a map I have fun playing when I replay Conquest, and I don't think it's given enough love. A lot of people hate that map, the Ninja Cave. A lot of people hate it, right? That's funny. You're right. A lot of people really dislike that map. I always think of it fondly though, and people say it's like really hard or overly challenging, but I don't get that either, because like Xander can like trivialize the map, right? You just got Xander. He's incredible, and Camilla still does really well. And like you said, I wanted to say Niles, but no, Shura. If you didn't, skin him for boots, Shura is really interesting too. So, and like really interesting on the map. I think part of the thing that people don't like is that the dragon veins are a little unintuitive. They're a little weird, but if you use them to your advantage, it can be cool. So, yeah, you're right. Not enough people talk about Conquest Chapter 17. That's a fun one. All right. Lorena Soto. I love Disturbance in Augustria and Eldigan's chapter. Disturbance in Augustria makes me want to vom gameplay wise. Story wise, it's cool. Chapter 3 though, Eldigan the Lionheart or whatever it's called, very cool chapter. Will agree with that, Lorena. Will agree with that. No, I think you're the first person to talk about it though, which is interesting. The music's really good, story's really good. Eldigan kind of like getting betrayed and killed is interesting after his sister Lachesis is like, please stop fighting, this is dumb. Really cool. And yeah, and smiley face. Thanks for the smiley face. All right, last comment, the last melon, from a Hoshton Woodland. I like the Golden Deer House students. They're all pretty chill and be fun to hang out with. You know what? Fair. Very true. Very true. All right, guys, that was fun. Thanks for if you stuck around for both parts, you're a real one. You're awesome. If you're into this kind of stuff and you're not subscribed, you should totally subscribe, because I talk about Fire Emblem kind of often. It's kind of my thing here, and I'm going to be putting a lot more time into YouTube starting right now. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment your thoughts. What are your favorite maps that maybe someone we missed, didn't talk about, and like the video before you leave. Thanks for watching, guys.